Now we need to create our sheets and borders for our project. While we won't create every sheet required to build a home, the same process you see in this video can be used to create the rest of your required documents. To begin with, we're going to come up underneath the View tab up here on the ribbon, and we're going to look for Sheet, and that can be found over Sheet Composition. So click on Sheet, and it's going to ask, what title block do you want to use? So we only have one currently loaded into our project, so just pick that one and click on OK. When we did that, you'll see that underneath the project browser over here on the left-hand side, we now have a new category, and it's going to be Sheets. If you click on the little plus sign next to it, you can see we have A503 and it says unnamed. That's the same information that we can find in our title blocks over here. Now, one of the things that I would like to do is set up the rest of our project, and that's going to require us to have 8 sheets in total. So to accomplish that, I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to click on Sheet, and I'm going to click OK each time that that dialog box comes up. Now we're going to continue to do this, and ultimately we're going to want to have 8 different sheets here. So just keep clicking until you have 8 different ones listed underneath your project browser over there on the left-hand side. Once you get to the point where you have all the sheets that you need, we're going to come back in and we're going to rename these sheets so they're going to be ready to go to have information placed on them. In order to rename a sheet, you simply move over to where the sheet is located at in the project browser. You can right-click on that name, and there's an option there that says Rename. If you select on Rename, we can rename it. In this instance, I'm going to rename it 001. For the name, call it Cover. Make sure that whenever you're going to place the name, you do it on the next line down, because it's going to fill in that information appropriately inside of the title block over here on the side. In order to better illustrate that, let's go ahead and rename this A510 unnamed, which is currently up on my screen. If you have a different one on your screen, pick that one underneath the project browser and go through this process. For this one, I want to name this one A101 Site. And there's really 2 different ways we can go about doing it. The first way is by right-clicking on that title, going to Rename, and naming this A101, and then putting in the information of Site. As soon as you click on OK, if you take a look over here at that information in your title block, you'll see that it automatically updates to what we called it over here. Now, there is another option that we have. The other option is if you just double-click in order to open up that view. You can zoom in on your title block. From here, you can click on the title block itself. You may need to click one more time to click on the text, which is the actual name of the view. And in this case, we were going to create a foundation sheet. So you can go ahead and type in foundation once you click on that text. You can click out in space in order to set that name. You can come back in here, and in this case, we're going to give this a number of A201. So you can change that information the same way that we just did up above. Let's do that same thing here with our next sheet. So just pick one of the unnamed sheets that we created. The next one needs to be a first floor plan. So zoom in here, click where we have the, in this case, A505, and we're going to name this A301. It is a first floor plan. So where you see the word unnamed, we're just going to call this first floor, or if you want to call it first floor plan, you can do that as well. Next, we have 4 more to do. One is going to be for our north and south elevations. For this one, I'm going to come back underneath our project browser so we don't have to keep opening up these views. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to click on Rename again. This is going to be A401. Also, where we have the name field, this is just going to be north and south elevations. We're going to do a second sheet, one that's going to be following this one up, and it's going to be A402. All of our elevations are going to be in the 400 series. So I'm going to come down here, pick on another one of the renames. We're going to rename, and this is going to be A402, and it's going to be east and west elevations. Now we only have 2 more to go. One's going to be for our wall sections. And so I'm just going to select on that, rename. This will be a 500 one, so A501, and it'll be wall section. Make sure to drop that down to the next line and type in wall sections. And just to show it, I'm going to go ahead and double click on the A509, bring that sheet up, and I'm just going to rename it here inside of the title block. So once again, select on the title block. If you ever see these question marks in the title block, it means that this is just looking for information and it just currently hasn't been filled in yet. Once that information would be filled in, it would automatically populate on the title block. So go ahead and select on unnamed, type in standard details for the name, and change this number to be A502. So while this process takes a little while, it's really pretty painless and quick. All you have to do is remember to create a new sheet, come up here to the View tab, click on Sheet, and then click the appropriate title block, and it'll automatically insert it in. You want to change the information, you can either do that by coming over to the project browser, right-clicking, and then renaming it or changing its properties and information, or just come right to the title block itself and just double-click inside of the space and give it the appropriate names and info.